Hi, my name is Amara Mueller, and I am the Clinical Director at Trails Momentum.
I'm Sarah Parlier, and I'm the Director of Student Development at Trails Momentum. And we're here today to talk to you about gap year.
So when I think of gap year, traditionally I think of a student who has just graduated from high school and is deciding not to go straight to college and perhaps going to go travel the world alone. Maybe this is the first trip they've ever taken on their own, and their parents are supporting them, sort of, but really they're just maybe going to go with a friend, and they're going to go to a different country and see what they see and see what independence feels like for real before they buckle down and go to college. That's my perception.
Yeah, and that's really more now like the kind of the historical view of what a gap year used to be like when it started back in the 1960s, and it was really like the very wealthy kids who would get to take this year of luxury to go challenge themselves, learn more about themselves before they started at perhaps an Ivy League school. For us today, gap year looks really different, and there are more and more American young adults who are doing this experience that used to be only for European well-to-do families. So today, gap year can include travel, but a lot of times that travel might be closer to home. It may even be here in the US, and it might include a program like Trails Momentum. Trails Momentum is a wilderness program. It's also kind of known as like adventure therapy or therapeutic adventure, and includes a lot of the same elements that gap year programs typically include. One of the cool things about gap year programs today is that it's so well known that places like Harvard even encourage their students to take a gap year. So today, if a student gets accepted at Harvard, they'll send along an acceptance letter with an invitation to take a gap year because they know the benefit that students get when they have that extra time to mature, develop their self-confidence, have some new experiences, and really set their goals for themselves as they move forward. Employers often also look at gap years differently now than they used to, and they see it as, again, another thoughtful time that young adults take for themselves before getting started in their professions or in their academic work. So gap years have come a long way, and Trails Momentum is really excited to be a part of a student's gap year experience. So we're going to talk to you a little bit today about how some of those components really fit in well with our program that we have. Let's start with the development of confidence. At Trails Momentum, how do you see students becoming more confident in the programming that we offer?
Great question. So at Trails Momentum, we actually do a lot of programming that helps introduce students into experiences they may not have otherwise. We have a lot of therapeutic adventure activities such as whitewater rafting, canoeing, rock climbing, mountain biking, those types of adventure-based experiences that really help people push their limits and gain confidence in their bodies and their minds and just in different ways that they would not ever imagine.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see a student maybe start out at the rock gym, for example, and they set a goal for themselves to try one particular route, and by the end of the day, they not only have mastered that route, but they're trying projects that are much more complicated than what they originally thought they could do. That's pretty rewarding.
And then sometimes they have even the opportunity to go further with that, to bring their skills outside into the outdoor rock realm with ropes and all of that.
And so along the ways, not only are they developing that confidence, but they're also learning that they might have a new hobby when they graduate our program. They can also develop a lot of confidence in the classroom with our academics aspect. So at Momentum, we have college credit that students can earn, and whether they choose to earn the credit or not, they're in an academic setting where they can learn that they can find success, once again, being students. So for some students who are hoping to go to college, but they're not sure that they're really college ready, they can gain the confidence of knowing I've been in a college classroom and I have been successful, so I have that confidence to now launch into my college program when I complete.
And along with that, so we have clinicians, 2 clinicians right now on staff, and we do a lot of individual clinical therapeutic work that helps people identify their values, their goals, their motivations, and sometimes even their passions. And so really confidence, so we talked about physical confidence with all the activities we do, but also the internal personal work to develop confidence from the inside out.
And like actually owning their choices, like this is what I want to do and this is who I believe that I am, as opposed to I'm this person that I'm only being because this is what my family might have expected of me. So developing that direction for themselves really instills that confidence. So in addition to confidence, there's also a lot of time for self-reflection at Momentum. Can you talk a little bit about some of the components that the clinical experience brings to that?
Yeah, we have a weekly mindfulness time, actually daily mindfulness time built in that students have to, I mean, we do lots of different activities, but the goal of that time is to learn how to sit with yourself, be your own best support, and to increase your ability to just be more aware of what's going on in the inside. Also have a weekly hour-long mindfulness course that we teach. So we teach a lot about how mindfulness can be helpful, how it can help you connect to yourself and others and move you forward towards your goals. We also have a yoga. We teach and do yoga to connect with the mind and the body.
Yeah, and the mindfulness and the yoga pieces are provided through clinical staff, so that's something that they're getting, expert help with. Yeah. It's facilitated at a level that they can really feel confident that they're learning what they can then carry into their personal lives outside of Momentum.
Yep, absolutely.
That time for self-reflection also carries into a lot of the adventure activity and time that they're spending out in the wilderness too.
Yeah, it's
so
a big piece.
A big part of what our students experience on the weekends at Momentum is they go on these expeditions, and oftentimes they're like in the Pisgah National Forest, which our campus is located near, and they spend time out in the woods. Maybe they'll be sitting and journaling, having that time to really think about how they've challenged themselves in that experience, and also how they're growing through that challenge. And I've heard students come back from some of those reflection periods and saying that they understand so much more about who they are after going through some of those challenges on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So another part of what students do at Momentum is they work a lot on their communication skills. Because Momentum is peer involved, they're very involved with the group and they're communicating with their group members all the time. They are constantly interacting with each other's communication styles, and they're having to negotiate how communication is working or isn't working. In addition to that, they have a lot of time talking through that, processing through that with you all as therapists, and also in the classroom space, they actually get to take a communications course. So a big part of what they're doing during their time with us is communication focused. Many of the students, I know you've talked to students about this too, many of them come in saying, I really want to get better at talking to my parents, or I don't feel like I have a good relationship with my siblings. And so one of their goals when they come to us is that they want to improve their family communications or their relationship communications. They want to be able to communicate their emotions more effectively. They want to communicate about conflict more effectively. And so we focus on those topics specifically in the academics portion, and then they also do a lot of work with that with you all. You do a family sculpt activity?
Yeah, one of our groups that we do weekly is family sculpting. So it gives each student an opportunity to present their family system, sculpt other people into positions where it's a very experiential, visceral experience for them. So they get to actually watch other people be their family, and then they get to get feedback from their peers about what their family system looks like, what it is how they've been functioning in their family, and how their family functions as a whole. It's a really powerful activity.
Yeah, I can't imagine a better way of integrating the communication skills with the therapeutics. And they also do a lot of communicating with their field instructors, obviously, and with our leadership. We have something every couple of weeks called advocacy, where they're practicing their communication skills as well in that. And they put together a plan of what they want to advocate for, to how to improve our program, and then they communicate directly with program director, clinical director, leadership to try to have some efficacy in that moment and to advocate for their needs appropriately.
Yeah, and the goal of that really is to help them practice so they can do that in their life when they're going back to college or whatever it is they're choosing to do after they're done at Momentum.
Yeah, so I don't know, it kind of seems like communication is always happening.
Yeah.
It's just part of the experience.
But really intentional. We're really intentional about helping people develop those skills for themselves so they can be successful in college or relationships or whatever it is that their goals are when they come in.
Yeah. So another piece that a lot of students look for a gap year experience for is that idea of a new experience, to do something they haven't done before. Yeah. And one of the things that's really exciting is to see students try something for the first time that they haven't tried. And what's great is that that could look different for every student. So some of our students come in, maybe they've been hiking a lot and they've had a lot of experience with that, but they've never cooked their own food. They've never spent a lot of time in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So we have new experiences every day, and we try to offer different experiences for different students and what their needs are. But I'm constantly impressed by the way that our therapeutic model really values how those experiences can help those students challenge themselves and really help them grow. And all the work that's around that, all the processing that happens with the group members and with their field instructors really helps them see the value in those experiences. So, like, out of the adventure experiences, everything's a metaphor, right? But, you think about mountain biking, for example. How do you see mountain biking really helping our students challenge themselves and see it as both a new experience, but also this therapeutic opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different for each student, honestly, but I mean, from learning how to fix their bike, so the empowerment piece of I go out into the forest and ride this bike and maybe I get a flat tire or my chain comes off or something like that, they learn how to do that, to going down a single track trail that they never thought they could do before, and then the adrenaline that comes with that, and having healthy activities that pique your interest and get your heart going and your mind going and get you excited. That's different than what they may have been doing at home.
Yeah. And for some of them, just knowing like, I have to do this. Like some of us need to be at that place where nobody else can get the bike back to the van. Like it has to be me to have that little bit of pressure. For them, that's the new experience. Like being empowered with that opportunity to do it for themselves. So big adventure or small, all of our students are having lots of new experiences every day at Momentum. So one of the things that some people ask is, well, how can what is typically at Momentum a 90 to 120 day experience, how can that fit into a gap year? And I think what's really cool about Momentum is that it really dovetails nicely into other things that students may want to do, either before or after Momentum. So many of our students come to us, and then afterwards they plan for additional time, maybe in a local community, or they plan to do some traveling, they plan to attend another program. So just because it's not a year-long program doesn't mean it can't necessarily be part of a year-long experience that they have prior to or during their college years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're really fortunate to be able to be a part of a gap year experience for many of our Trails Momentum students, and we look forward to working with more young adults in the years to come.
Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us for a bit about gap year. We hope that it was informative for you.
And if you have any more questions, feel free to give us a call or check out our website. I'll talk to you again soon.